Seabrook. Usually people stand when they greet a superior.
Only when they respect them.
Ooh. Man, you've been spitting some fire lately. You got an issue? Are we going to turn this into an episode of Dr. Phil? Or
You want to go 10 rounds?
Seriously, 10 rounds with the king. Let's go. I only need half. Welcome to the Apex Strengthcast with your host, Anthony and Tyler Seabrook. This Strengthcast is brought to you by Apex Strength training for everyone. Now, last time we did a podcast with just us two, people loved it. You know, Tyler and I have good chemistry. We've been friends for, 12, 13 years now.
God damn.
Yeah.
It's been a while, yeah.
So, we're going to talk a bit today, but, we're also going to touch on, cutting weight and things like that briefly because we're both not very smart.
Speak for yourself.
It's that, they say, dumb people have have confidence.
Yeah. The beast.
You
I don't think that guy's been, the overabundance of education, but
I wish I had someone here to be like, hey, pull that video up.
Yeah. Jamie, pull that shit up.
So yeah,
so I just, got back from the Maldives.
It's just us today. We hope you like the new viewing format. We're trying to find some better angles because the angle is trash sometimes. It's a bit harder with the shape of this desk. Maybe we take that into account. I'm not sure. Give us your feedback.
Yeah, it's true. We'll just keep mixing it up until you guys like it.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 comments on all of our YouTube videos, so #made it. But give us your feedback. I'm talking to you, Casey. I know you watch every one of these.
I was saying it's messing with my OCD though. I just know it's going to look like all of them are all the same, bang, different.
It's all right. We're using thumbnails now, so they won't know until they open it. It's
true.
And we know Trent...
And you got the 4 people who watch it, so...
Yeah. Well, we know Trent watches the whole thing, because last week I coughed like this, and he sent me a video capture, and it looked like I went...
You did, didn't you?
No, fuck. Get off it. Yeah.
Shout out to Trent.
Yeah, shout out to Trent Ross. Strong as hell.
His training's going well.
He told me what numbers he's aiming for this year.
Well, what are they?
I'm not telling you. No. It's a surprise.
Well, that's a fucking tease.
I know. They're big. They're really good. He's probably good for it too.
Well, his training's looking really good, so it wouldn't surprise me.
I said to him in a message the other day, he's like, how do you think my squats are looking? And I'm like, well, it's always good when you don't end up looking at the floor during a squat.
That's true.
So if you saw his squat from last year, he'd good morning it. Now he's staying nice and tight, nice and upright, neutral back position. He's doing really well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just saw his video, the 4 and 220. It looked pretty comfy.
Yeah. Speaking of squats,
the king of squatting.
Have you seen any interesting squats this week, Tyler?
Nah, man. Nothing really exciting.
Nah? I heard there was some guy that did 322 kilos for a double, easy. Probably had 5 in him. No, so this week, shameless self-plug. I'm very happy. I squatted 322.5 kilos for a double. It was good. It was comfy. Now, my current 1 rep max at this weight class is 326 kilos. Yeah, it was an ugly grind.
That's what's crazy.
Same body weight too.
Yeah.
I'm not heavier than when I did that, and I just doubled 322.5. It felt really good, really comfy. You did a good job calling the weight because if it was up to me, I would have gone 307, 330.
Yeah, I remember because you said let's go 330, and I was like, let's be able to squat next week.
Yeah, be able to walk.
Yeah, be able to walk. I think what's really good about it as well is that even this second looked like a second attempt. It didn't look like a third attempt grind. That's what's crazy about it.
Which brings a question, Tyler. We've got comp in 7.5 weeks. What do you think I'm going to squat?
I reckon a good third attempt would be 332.5. Because that way,
I think
it'll be comfy, like where you leave some in the tank for nationals for a 330. If everything goes to plan, 337 to 340 nationals. Now, that would be crazy, especially because that's the biggest you've ever squatted in terms of when you were heavier as well.
I'm thinking March, if I come in good, a conservative attempt, which is what you just said, 332.5, third. So I'll probably go 305, 320, 332.
Yep.
Or, if I'm feeling good, 305, 322.5, 337.
Well, I think as I was talking about yesterday about your opener being, 307 would be, because then you go 307, 322, and then 332 in terms of just a 10 kilo jump. But if you do want to leave more in the tank for the third, then starting off a little bit lighter might be ideal.
It's 2.5 kilos. It's not going to make much difference. It just makes more sense with the jumps.
Famous last words.
I reckon, anyway, any minimum 332 is what I want to put on the bar. Heavier would be better. But again, this is a warm-up comp. I don't want to go balls to the wall, grind out a weight. I have nationals 15 weeks after. This is literally just a setup for Nats, where I wouldn't mind trying to crack high 330s, low 340s.
Yeah.
But we'll see. There's a world of difference. Like, there's a whole lot of time. 15 weeks between comps is like anything can happen. I could have a bad training cycle. I could have an amazing training cycle.
That's why I always, leave with the fact I'm like, all right, this is it. If nothing happens, everything goes.
8 weeks is a long time, And we saw 8 weeks to comp. I could completely screw up my peak.
Yeah.
And everything. I could at Worlds, my biggest squat was 322.5, and it didn't look that good.
Yeah, no. So it's crazy. That's what but there's the travel aspect, which we spoke about before, where you could lose 2 to 5%.
2 weeks out, I did 317 harder than I did that 322. Anyway, back. I think this year I'm going to destroy my biggest ever total, which is 862.5 at 143, 145 kilos. Now I'm 120. I'm going to smash that. I'm calling it now, barring injury. 862, I'm going to leave that in the dust. Not to be arrogant, but actually the biggest thing I've changed in my training lately, something you would have noticed, is confidence. Every time I used to get on the squat, you'd see I'd crumble under the heavy weight because I thought I was going to miss it. I had no confidence. Yesterday, I was just like, Monday, I was like, I'm going to squat this shit. Like, I'm just going to get it done.
Yeah.
Like, I went 322 for a double, no doubt. Like, let's do it. And I didn't say maybe a single, maybe double. I went, I'm doing this for a double.
Yeah.
And that's not arrogance, that's confidence, because I know I'm good for it. I've done the training for it.
Yeah.
And that's changed heaps though, because when you're scared, you overthink everything.
Yeah.
So usually when I squat, or back in when I was squatting, even last year, I'd unrack the weight, I'd be like, oh shit, that feels heavy. Oh no. And then I'd be like, what? Do I break at my hips or my knees first? I don't know. So then I'd break at the knees and my hips would shoot back. Then I'd look at the floor and it would all go to shit. Now I'm just like, just squat, just go up and down. And you've done it. You've done hundreds of thousands of reps through your training career. Don't quote me on that. I don't actually know how many reps I've done. But a whole load of reps. Just trust that your body knows what to do. You've ingrained a good motor pattern.
You got to get that Nathan Tannis walkout, man.
Oh, dude.
That level of confidence.
That's the most beautiful squat.
I just don't understand how someone, at 82, 83 kilos can walk out 300 kilos. Like it's like 305 recently, without looking like it's, 200.
His facial expression doesn't change.
That's probably what it is. He's just so like...
Well, it's like the best lifters to coach, and this isn't a dig at anyone, all our lifters are very smart. But the easiest people to coach and most responsive are dumb people. People that aren't bright, and I'm probably going to get called out for this because it sounds mean, but if you're not bright, you're not overthinking everything, and you just do what you're told. You're going to do well.
Well, okay.
You don't stress. I'm like, squat 110%. They're like, okay, coach.
Yeah. Now, that is true, definitely, because obviously they don't overthink things, but there's also people who are quite intelligent and they just can switch it off, though, and be like, I'll do whatever you say.
Yeah.
And they'll just do it.
Yeah.
And they have the discipline. They'll just be like, all right, I trust your opinion, and I'll just do it.
It's that ability to turn off, which I think is what I'm getting now. The biggest difference was my JBL noise-cancelling headphone. Imagine if we got sponsored by them. So that's really good. So we're up, around, or above. Definitely never, ever in my life squatted 322 for a double, nothing close.
Yeah.
Even when I squatted 335 single, wasn't even close to that at our strongest point. Which segues us into cutting weight. Right? Man, I wish I had planned this better. So we all know 2016 Nationals, No, 2017 nationals.
2017.
Yeah. I was in the back room. I had Giardia 8 weeks out. I'd lost a whole bunch of weight, but I got back up to 140 plus for nationals. And I'm in the back room, and here I am talking about bulking to 165, 170 kilos, right? And I think we've touched on this in here before. I'm not too sure, but it's always an interesting story. And I remember being like, yeah, I want to be super heavyweight. They're strong. It's the best weight class, rah, rah. And I look around, and I'm, one of the lightest, or I think I was the lightest super on the day.
Yeah, you were.
I look around, and people are struggling to put shoes on. I remember that turning point, because I turned to you that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, Tyler, I don't want to be a super heavyweight anymore. I don't want this. When I'm unhappy, I hate the way I look. I hate the way I feel. I was just drinking all the time. By the way, we're 1 year sober in like a week or two. Not we, but me.
Yeah.
Haven't had a drink for a year. I was drinking a lot.
In turn, I've like halved my drinking.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, because I was a bad influence.
Well, it's just like me and you got together and just drank heaps.
It was like, hey, man, you want to drink a slab of beer and watch Lord of the Rings?
Oh, that was good days, though.
They were.
It was great.
Yeah, memories back when we didn't run a business. So I turned to you and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm unhappy. This isn't what I got into powerlifting for.
Yeah.
And I lost sight of that. I'd got given some bad advice, told bulk, it's powerlifting, not realizing that the day of everyone just being a fat powerlifter is over. It wasn't even the thing back in the day. Like, it's just, there are a few outliers.
Yeah.
Most people aren't, morbidly obese or massively overweight powerlifters. If you are, that's completely fine. But I'd forced myself to do that. I came up from like a nice 120 up to 144, 145.
Yeah, you're like, one, you're not naturally a big enough guy to be sitting at like 160 and not be trying to be sitting at 160. You'd have to eat so much and be so uncomfortable. Yeah. Which you already were at 140.
Man, just walking around that weight was terrible.
Yeah. And then everyone had like a minimum 15 or 20 kilos on you. And then you realize, like, I have to either gain 20 kilos to be competitive with these guys, or I can drop to 120 where I'd probably sit
a better suited class. And it was. So from that day, well, when we went out drinking, it was a crazy night. But then from that day, they're going to be like, that's an inside joke.
Yeah.
From that day, I started my cut. Now, a lot of people are like, don't cut early in your training. And I fully agree. If you're a new lifter, doesn't matter what body fat you are, don't come in and just cut weight. You're doing yourself a disservice. But don't just bulk. Right? Eat at maintenance. When you're a beginner, you'll recomp. You'll put on muscle. You'll get leaner because you've never had any training stimulus. You're going to get a better body composition, right? But people that have been lifting a while, a lot of the time you see people say, don't cut. Now, if you're a 57 kilo lifter and you want to cut to 50 kilos, it's probably not a good idea. It's definitely not a good idea, right? It's too much weight. You're too light. But for those heavier weight classes, if you're a chubby 105, you could cut down to a nice 94. Now, your strength will go down, but it'll bounce back. And, you're going to feel better, most likely. Not everyone, but you're going to feel better. And you're kind of going to remember why you got into lifting, which is to look better, feel better. And when you feel better, you want to lift more because you're seeing good results. It's all good and well, the numbers going up, but, most people get into lifting for reasons of vanity. And when you lose that, you can kind of lose a bit of motivation. You want to be proud with how you look.
Yeah.
I don't care what people say. Everyone has a different idea of what is a good physique and, what they'd be happy with. Like, I'm happy with where I'm at now. I'm not lean, but I'm not fat.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't like to be in my body fat, but, it's very individual.
It's like that saying, train to look good naked.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's something to that.
But I'll get asked a lot how I did the cut and didn't lose too much strength. Because I didn't. Now, I lost 9 kilos off my squat, I lost 20 kilos off my bench, and my deadlift went up. Yeah. So my total actually stayed really similar. First comp back after losing 25 kilos or 26 kilos at that point, I did a 12.5 kilo under my best total ever.
Yeah.
Or was it maybe a bit more, 15 kilos under my best total ever. Not much when you factor in how much weight I lost, right? So I get asked a lot how to lose weight and not lose much strength. you're not going to be happy with this. It's pretty simple. I tracked all my calories. I didn't cheat. Did you ever see me cheat on my diet?
No, you're pretty
nailed in. Like now, it can be a bit more lax, but I still eat. Like because it's easy.
Well, maintenance is easier. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's easy. I eat rice and chicken every day because like it doesn't take much time to cook. Not because I think bro diets are the only way, but it fits in with the time constraints we have. Or pasta and beef is a lot of it. But good cuts of beef, not mince.
Yep.
But yeah, so how to do it? One, you got to track your calories. It's integral. And the reason I say that isn't so I can be like, stop eating so much. It's so you don't actually cut too fast. You go into a small calorie deficit over a long period of time. You want to get the best results and the most results from the minimum, right? Yeah. So if your maintenance is 4,000 calories, I have no reference for what normal people eat, because I'm maintaining on 5,500. If your maintenance is 4,000 or 3,000, don't drop to 2,000. Don't drop to 1,500. Drop to 28. Milk that as long as you can. Then drop to 26. Milk that as long as you can. And you'll find that while you won't lose weight as fast, you'll lose more weight or the same amount of weight without cutting your calories like crazy. Yeah. That's the most important thing. That is your biggest tool, is tracking your macros and calories, right? So you don't get stuck eating too little for a long period of time. As much as you want to preserve as much muscle as possible, you still want to perform well. You can't do that in a 1,500 or 1,200 calorie deficit. Yeah. Right? Maybe some people can, but we have a lifter here. She cut from 113 to 97 and her total went up. Her squat and deadlift went up. Her bench dropped by 5 kilos. But that's because we milked it over 6 months. Yeah. So she lost 13 kilos. And she wasn't weak or anything to start. She's a strong girl. But, because of how we did it over a long period of time, really meticulous with her calories and her macros, she got stronger.
A big part of it is trying to keep that muscle mass on while you're in a cut, yeah?
Yeah. So high protein, I'm not going to spit figures at you.
Relevant to your size.
Yeah, exactly. But, you need that to retain your muscle, especially on a cut. You need a higher amount. The other thing is don't drop your fat too low. It wreaks havoc on your body. You see that a lot of people will drop. One of the first things a lot of people do, if they don't know, is drop fat. And then they're like, why do I feel like shit all the time? Why do my joints hurt?
Yeah, it's a massive misconception.
Why is my hair going?
So many people think cut fat. But I'm like, no, you need fat.
Yeah. 100%. So that's the first thing. Calories and a long period of time. Don't aim to lose 10 kilos in a month. I did 26 kilos. Now, I'm a heavy guy, and I was heavy. So 26 kilos as a percentage, well, it's still pretty big. What is that? It's almost 20% of my body weight.
Yeah.
But because I'm a big guy, I didn't actually have to cut my calories that low or anything. But I still did it over a long time. I mean, how long was June? So 8 months. 8 months I took to cut, but that's why I didn't lose heaps of strength. Don't rush it. Good things don't come fast.
Well,
right?
Yeah, and to back it up, it's been proven that it's a healthier way to lose weight too.
Yeah, and more sustainable. But when you're talking, you want to get down to a weight class. So, and in relation to powerlifting, if you're cutting from 105 to 94 kilos, you're gonna, plan to do a couple comps as a light 105.
Yeah.
Don't go, I've got 4 months to comp, I'm gonna cut 12 kilos or 11 kilos. What you do, well, I've got 4 months to comp. I wouldn't mind coming in at about 99, 100. Then the next comp coming in, 96, 97.
Yeah.
And then by that third comp, you'll be, on track for 94s.
Yeah.
Right? That's just an example. So don't rush it. Don't get stuck in your head that, you need to make weight by this certain comp. You're going to do yourself a disservice. You're going to lose a lot of strength. So that's number one, which people think it's pretty basic, but so many people mess it up because it's that instant gratification. Hey, I've committed. I've changed my idea. I've changed my mind. I want to be lighter. I want to be leaner. I want to be fitter. I want that now.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do a crazy deficit, and what will be. I don't know how much strength I'm going to lose, and then we're just going to take it as is. You get to that, and then you're unhappy because you've lost 20 kilos before your lifts.
Yeah.
20, 25 kilos before your lifts, and you're like, and then there's a long rebuild process, right? You can really limit that by doing it over time and efficiently.
Yeah. We've got a lifter who is only just in the supers, but he's competing as a light super because he wants to drop, into the 120s and eventually 105s. But he's competing, between 120 and 125, which is just into the supers. It's a light super, but it doesn't matter because when you begin in comps, your weight doesn't matter. Like get 5-10 comps under your belt before you go, okay, I want to try to be more competitive in terms of my weight class.
Yeah, exactly. Like, minimum 2 or 3.
Yeah, minimum.
But if you're cutting for health, again, still don't rush it because you want to retain a lot of that strength. Yeah. So that was the big thing, time. I was in no rush. People were like, when are you going to compete? I'm like, when I hit my weight. I never went up in weight. I never went backwards. But it was slow, steady. I think I lost 5 kilos in the first week. And I was like, ooh, like a lot of that would have been like water and stuff. But I did a nice, slow, steady cut. And I didn't have any plans to compete till I was on weight. Yeah. And it worked really well.
It's not to say that, even if you do go back up a little bit, because a lot of people, fail their cuts, which is a common occurrence. If you lose 3 kilos and then put on 2, you're still a kilo down. Yeah, and this goes back to the whole like breaking bad habits. Is you just keep failing, but fail better each time, and then eventually you'll achieve your goal.
100%. Like, don't just if you put on a kilo or 2, don't get disheartened and then blow out and eat pizza and ice cream all weekend, because then you're gonna be worse off than when you started. Yeah. You need to realize that for the majority of people, you are going to have, it's sometimes going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and that's okay. Yeah, because this is why, again, we say don't put a time frame on it. Just do it nice, slow, and fit it into your lifestyle. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you don't know a lot about nutrition, macros or anything, get a nutrition coach. I know it's money. It's hard to get money off of people. I'm not saying come to me. I don't do that. I don't like doing it. I do it for me, my brother, and I think I help you with yours. And that's and the lady that cut the weight here. That's the extent of it. Yeah. It's not something, I'm confident in my ability, but also it's not something I want to advertise or do, right? Yeah. I always say, and I said this in the workshop at Tasmania the other week, I wasn't here for that podcast, referrals are your biggest tool as a coach. Go to someone with a tried and true track record of helping people get results, sustainable results, and, maintaining strength and things. People like Joey Zanghini, right? It's a plug. He probably doesn't even watch this. But, he works with some of our guys, at least one I know of. She's had really good results. She's strong as hell. And, he's really on board. If she needs to lose a couple kilos, he'll tell her. We need to go down a couple kilos, and he'll make the adjustments. He's really good. If you don't know what you're doing and you're not 100% confident, pay someone. That's good. Don't just go to the dietitian down at your local general practice office because they're not tailored to athletes. Go to someone that works with athletes. Again, like Joey Zanghini, there's a proven track record. You can look at his clients. You can look it through his Instagram and see that he does get good results, right? Yeah. And don't think you're going to be paying $10 or $20 a week. You've got to pay for good services, but it's worth it, right? Especially if you do want to keep as much of that strength and muscle as possible. So go to someone that knows what they're doing. That's the other thing. I did it myself, which is good because one, it was expensive for me, but I was confident I knew what I was doing. But most people think they have an idea and they don't, and they end up shooting themselves in the foot. I can't stress that enough. Go to someone that knows what they're doing. That is your biggest tool. Next up is training. Because you're cutting, it doesn't mean you should train less or not as intense. This is the biggest thing. People go, I'm cutting weight. Now, people's opinions might differ on this. There's no one right way to get strong. There's a lot of wrong ways, right? But the way I did it, and what helped me a lot is you see straight away, I'm going to get weaker. I'm going to drop my 1 rep maxes. I'm going to drop my intensity. Don't do that. Keep your intensity as high for as long as possible. That doesn't mean go doing 90%. But if you've got your training cycle, you planned out your training cycle for 15 weeks, you've got your 1 rep maxes in as 180, 120, 200. Don't then at the start of the cut drop those to 130 or 160, 100, and 180 or whatever, right? Don't drop your maxes. Don't drop the training intensity. Keep it as high as long as possible because you won't lose as much strength as you think. If you drop your training maxes and everything drastically, you've got it in your head that you're going to lose heaps of strength, so you're not training as hard, all the training's too easy, you're going to go backwards like you would even if you weren't cutting. Yeah. So if I walked in here and I dropped all my training maxes 20%, right, I'm not going to get the results that I would training like, the way I do now. Yeah. Same thing goes on a cut. Don't change your style of training. Don't drastically alter anything. If you're in an off season, do a normal off season. You're going to retain more muscle that way. You're not going to lose as much strength as quickly as you think you are if you do it right. That's the biggest thing I see. I'm cutting, so it astounds me. And it sounds so silly. People are like, why would you train the way you're training? Well, without doubt, almost all the time people come in and tell me, I've been cutting weight. Oh, cool, what's your training like? And I don't understand the idea behind it. Like, oh, well, I was cutting, so I switched to a bro split.
Yeah, okay.
I was cutting, so I started doing arms once a week, chest once a week, back once a week, legs once a week. Well, what were you doing before? Well, I was squatting 3 days. I was benching 3, and I was, deadlifting twice or once or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
I was doing a nice, powerlifting split. I was with this coach, then I cut. I knew I was going to lose strength, so what's the point of doing powerlifting while I'm cutting? You are an idiot.
Yeah, I think they also need to take into account of the fact that if you're dropping from 30% to 20% body fat, it is different to dropping 20% to 10%.
Oh, 100%. That's something else definitely we should go into.
Yeah, it's another ballpark.
To wrap that up, don't change your training.
Yeah.
Keep it and then change it as it need be. But if you have a coach, they're going to realize that. So if someone's cutting with me, the first 5-6 weeks, we don't have to change anything. After that, we might have to drop the percentages a little bit. But again, it's a tiny amount, right? You don't automatically lose 20% of your strength on a cut. Like, you do you change the bare minimum. That's not to say do the same training cycle ever. I don't want anyone to quote me on that. If you have a coach, they should have a plan for you, off seasons, like comp cycles and that. But you don't change that much.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just drop everything back. That's something I see a lot. Don't just go, I'm going to cut, so I'm going to get weaker. I'm not going to go to my coach anymore till I'm ready to compete again. That's the worst thing you can do. You want to limit the variables, right? Don't do crazy changes. The other thing is, it's a really good point. If you're dropping from 30% body fat to 20% body fat, as long as you do it right, you're not going to lose as much strength as dropping from 20% to 10% or 15% to 10%.
Yeah.
Right? If you're 30%, if you're overweight, and you have a high body fat, there's all the chance in the world you're actually not going to lose that much strength or any at all. And I think that's a big reason I didn't lose too much, was because I was at a higher body fat.
Yeah.
So me dropping 20% of my body weight is different to you dropping 20% of your body weight. As much as people like to think, there is a point, getting heavier does help you lift more. Mass moves mass, things on the bench, being heavier usually will help you lift more, but fat doesn't make you stronger, right? Yeah. Getting a higher body fat doesn't make you stronger. This is why on the other end, when we get people to bulk up a weight class, Tyler's gone from 82 kilos to 88 kilos or 87 kilos in 2 years. He's leaner, he's way more muscular because he did it nice and slow. If he had gone from 82 to 88 kilos in 2 months, he would have put on, or 3 months, he would have put on way more body fat.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. Fat doesn't help you lift, right? It might inflate your numbers a little bit and sometimes your leverages change. But if you can put on that same amount of weight, if you can put on 5 kilos, but 5 kilos of muscle and 4 kilos of muscle, 1 kilo of fat over a long period of time, you're going to be a lot better of a lifter than if you just had it blown out and put on 6 kilos.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think you've done before. You went from 83 to 87 real quick. Didn't really like the way you looked or felt. And even though you weren't fat, you still were lighter than you are now, and you were higher body fat.
But definitely increased more body fat rather than muscle
So you went
mass.
back down, and that's when we did it really slow.
Yeah.
And now you're happy with how you look.
So I'm back down to 80 kilos, and it's funny, the difference in strength's huge when you go from...
You're not 80 right now.
No, but when I went from 14 to 16% body fat to 10 to 12% body fat, it was crazy. The strength drop, as I was talking about, it's different from someone going from, say 25% to 20%. It's much more noticeable, especially on the bench. It's huge. Every kilo at that percentage of body weight is huge.
Fat doesn't make you stronger.
Yeah, but then I've just slowly, obviously, counted my calories and just slowly worked up to probably the heaviest now I think I've ever been, but I'm almost the leanest I've ever been as well. So it's definitely a good combination of a good weight to sit at, especially for my weight class.
Yeah, 185 kilo weight class.
Yeah.
But so don't make drastic changes. It's really that simple though. There's no magic pill.
People think there is though.
I feel like people are going to watch this and be like, oh, I was hoping for some. This is the thing. People want some magical thing. This is what you do to retain strength on on a cut and, not lose anything. It's the Mega Mass 10,000 protein shake.
Yeah.
Or, Tribulus, or I don't stay up to date on supplements, guys. Like I take vitamin D.
It's a lot
and
of hard work in terms of your training, and it's a lot of hard work even outside of your training. So your meal prepping, making sure that you're hitting the right calories.
The other thing was I started sleeping more, making sure I stopped. Remember how I used to stay up to 2, 3 in the morning playing video games? Cut that out. I sleep more now.
Well, sleep, another underrated.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Again,
you control the variables.
Stan Efferding, like one of his biggest things is how much you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So it's diet, sleep, and because everyone, like, training is the fun part. It is, like, even though it hurts, but everyone likes to go train. Or most people anyway, especially people in competitive lifting. Where diet and sleep are so crucial.
It's not sexy. It's not sexy to hear that it's that simple, but also that hard.
Yeah,
because it's simple. When
it's the hard truth.
People listen when I say these simple things, and they go, "Oh, Anthony," they'll think, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about." Well, no, it's just that simple. Control the variables. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything drastic. Don't change the way you train. Drop it as you need to, not preemptively, right? Don't just change everything because you're going to lose some strength. You'll lose more that way. And, track your macros and do it slow. Yeah. It's that simple. And get a nutrition coach. Like, that's not a must, but if you don't know exactly what you're doing, or you're not confident in your ability even, that's going to be one less stress you have, something you're going to be doing right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people go, oh, they don't really know what they're talking about. Well, no, this works. That's the thing. Like, it's just not sexy because it's not some get fit quick or get lean quick scheme.
Yeah.
It's reality, and this is how we do it for our athletes. Again, one of our ladies lost 13 kilos and got stronger. And why? As soon as I explained it to her and I went, these are the macros I want you to eat, and she was like, those calories are quite high. I'm like, yeah, but she cut on 2,500 calories. She started on only a little bit more. Now she's maintaining on 2,900 or 3,000. Like, we did it slow, and I said to her, I'm like, we're going to do it over a long period of time. And she got strong. And she's like, oh, you know what? And she's happier than ever. Like, it's not a sexy answer, but it's the reality. Do things slow, do things steady, don't rush. You're going to get a little bit weaker, but you don't, unless, you are in a lighter weight class or really lean, there's no reason you need to have a drastic drop in strength. Like, no one that we've coached that's cut has had a massive drop in strength. But it's because, it's easy to convince someone that's coming to you professionally that that's the right thing.
To do it the right way,
than to tell someone at another gym that's the right thing when they ask.
Yeah. It gets even more simple for people who just, they live casually, they're not really interested in competing, but, they want to lose a little bit of weight. It gets as simple as just cutting out sugar. Because, most foods have a little bit of sugar in them. Like, if you look at most foods, they have, especially healthier foods, it's 3 grams to 100 of sugar, which is actually quite healthy, a range of sugar to eat in your meals. Where if you're eating your chocolates, you're adding sugar to your cereals. If you just simply cut out sugar, and I've done this before, I've lost weight, simply not even counting calories, just cutting out sugar.
Well, yeah, because it just forces you to eat cleaner.
And and
that's
it's
the
that
thing,
simple.
And this is what I'm talking specifically for powerlifters. If you're Joe Blow at the gym, going to the gym after work 3 days a week, you're holding a bit of body fat, you got the dad bod, you don't need to do some crazy fast, you don't need to do some crazy cleanse. Stop eating chocolate before bed every night.
Yeah.
Stop drinking 5 beers before bed every night. Stop drinking 2 Cokes at work every day.
Yeah, and because sugar's the quick way to gain weight, and then sugar's also the quick way to lose weight, because obviously that's where you're getting a lot of your bad calories from.
You just said a word I don't agree with, bad calories, but I'm not going into that.
Well, I mean, I guess it goes to that whole thing. Yeah, you can eat ice cream as long as you're hitting your calorie intake.
Obviously it's not going to be as good.
You're not going to be healthy. But what I'm saying is, it's easy to go over your calorie intake.
Yeah, with things like, because you don't realize you don't realize how many calories are in a Coke because it's that big.
Exactly.
And it doesn't fill you up or anything.
So it's not that you couldn't eat only sugar and stay, you can moderate your weight, but you won't be healthy, and also it's easy to blow out. Yeah. A topic that's going in PA at the moment, and I'm just curious, we haven't actually spoken about it, but what do you think of the 1 kilo increments?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think, and I talked to a few of the girls here about it, and I was like, what do you think? And they're like, that would be amazing, because...
I wish we could do 25 gram increments.
Because 2.5 kilos on, say, a 60 kilogram girl bench, is massive. Because a 2.5, that's a massive PB for them. Because you think a percentage of body weight
It's also
versus,
going to make it
the
more
increase of
competitive.
strength, it'll be more
Man,
competitive.
you get two guys that are head-to-head at the nationals, and they're trying to milk every kilo from what they can do. So instead of doing 280 kilos, one's doing 283 because he's like, I've got a chance of getting this, but this will put me a kilo or two ahead. Man, you're going to be edge of your seat. When I go to nationals, I do 339.9 kilos. But that's the thing. It'll make it way more competitive. Bad joke. It'll make it way... That was a miss. It'll make it way more competitive. It'll be more rewarding, again, for people that do struggle to put stuff on their bench and everything. Micro plates for micro gains.
Yeah.
Right? Which people... That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. If you can get a 1 kilo PB every comp, 10 comps, you're doing 10 kilos heavier. And that's the reality for some people, especially higher level people as well. People that, can't go and put 5 kilos on each lift every competition, but you could probably put 1 kilo. But if you go from squatting 350 to 10 comps later, 1 kilo every comp doing 360, it's a 10 kilo improvement. It makes it...
Now, if you do go to 1 kilo increments, does that mean that you can't no longer do the 2.5, or you can do the 2.5 still, and you can do 1 kilo
as it stands
increments?
now, I'm sure you can still do the 2.5.
Yeah, okay. But the whole round numbers are so much better as well. And how much do you squat? I hate saying like a 0.5 after.
Yeah, like this is what, mate, 322.5.
Yeah, it's like you have to add it on though. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
I think
it'd be interesting to see if that comes into PA.
Yeah, I really would love that.
Yeah, it would be. It would be good.
Hey, Josh. We just been joined by Josh.
Josh Pataka's in the house.
He's not on the podcast today, though. Because we don't have a mic set up for him.
Yeah, say hi.
Hey, guys. How you going?
Josh still living that junior mentality.
Yes.
Throwback.
Anyway, we'll wrap it up.
Damn.
Anything else you want to say?
Training age.
No, we'll leave it for next week.
Shattered. All right. Thanks for listening. This was a brief one as it is a public holiday this weekend, so people are doing things. Tyler and I are very time poor. So we came in early today, did the Strengthcast.
We'll write a book on starting a business.
We hope you learn something. Again, it wasn't a sexy podcast. It wasn't something that's like revolutionary, but it's reality.
Yeah.
So don't then go, oh, that was boring. If you feel like that's not the right answer, maybe take a look at what you're doing. Like, again, and, it's different. Different people have different goals, but I can guarantee your goal is not to get weaker. So do the right thing and you'll do well.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry you had to sit through that.
Thank you very much. Big Josh, you squatting? Deadlifts.
Bench.